When you reach your decision height on the ILS, which is both your minimum altitude and your missed approach point, the electronic help in the cockpit has done all it can to get you to the airport. Now it's up to you to finish the job by looking out the windshield and putting your trusty Skyhawk on the runway by using your highly trained eyesight. To do that safely, you'll use the third and final part of the ILS system, the visual components. By visual components, we mean the airport lighting systems, the approach and runway lights that help you make the transition from electronic guidance to visual flight for the landing. These lights are important in the daytime as well as at night because in really low visibility, the lights can make the difference whether you can see the runway environment to land. You won't find every lighting system on every runway, but the ones you do find will be important components of that ILS approach. The airport lighting that gives you the most help on a tight instrument approach is the approach light system. Approach light systems come in varying intensities and configurations, but they all have some things in common. They all have a broad band of lights that leads straight to the runway centerline. And they all have a wide row of lights exactly 1,000 feet out from the landing threshold. This not only tells you distance, it also gives you an instinctive wing leveling cue. And you may not be aware that the green threshold lights are also part of the approach light system. They not only tell you where the landing surface begins, but are also wide enough to give you another wings level cue. Approach light systems come in various lengths, and some of the systems are quite short. But if the approach light system is used for an ILS runway, some part of the lights will extend out at least 2,400 feet and possibly up to 3,000 feet from the threshold. Approach light systems may also incorporate some sequenced flashing lights, which you already know as the rabbit. Approach light systems at major airports have a high intensity setting. Some of these systems can pump a glow right up into the clouds that you can see well before the missed approach point. But you can't descend based on seeing that glow. You must have the lights themselves clearly in sight. All approach light systems let the tower control the intensity level and often let the pilot control it if the tower is closed. In addition, in the larger systems, some parts can be shut down completely if they are a distraction to the pilots. That might happen when visibility is better than the minimum. Page L1 in any NOS approach chart book has sketches and descriptions of each variation of the approach light system. This is where you've been looking to decipher the little circled A symbols on the airport diagram. And the AIM section on airport lighting aids has some slightly larger sketches and a bit more explanation. Whatever variation is installed on your target runway, it is an integral part of the ILS system. Now let's look beyond the approach lights to the runway itself. As you may know, runway edge lights come in three flavors: low, medium, and high intensity. Kind of sounds like microwave settings, doesn't it? Normally, only medium or high intensity runway lights are used on runways with an instrument approach. The intensity levels for medium or high intensity systems are variable and can be stepped down in increments to lower intensity. The runway edge lights are spaced at 200-foot intervals, and counting how many lights you can see can help you judge your visibility. On the last 2,000 feet of an instrument runway, the lights are yellow or amber as a warning that you're approaching the end of the runway. In the rare cases where the runway is shorter than 4,000 feet, the last half of the runway has the warning amber color. But that's just the edge of the runway. As you already know, big-time installations can have lights in the runway too. Centerline lights are set into the pavement right where the runway centerline stripes are, at 50-foot intervals. They are white until the last 3,000 feet of the usable runway. Beginning 3,000 feet from the end, they alternate red and white for the next 2,000 feet. Then, for the last 1,000 feet, they are all red. The stop message is pretty clear. As you know, the touchdown zone lights are set right in the pavement, along with the centerline lights. They make a broad band on either side of the centerline. Starting from a point 100 feet after the threshold, they extend for 3,000 feet or to the midpoint of the runway, whichever is less. The first time I saw these touchdown zone lights, I thought, I can't land here, I'll hit the lights, but that's what they're designed for, to be landed on. By the way, the old standbys that you've been using in your VFR flying are useful on approaches too. Visual approach path indicators and runway identifier lights are part of the ILS visual components, and they can help you find the pavement you seek in bad weather, as well as good. So the name of the game is, when the instrument flying is done, the flight needs to finish visually. And on an ILS runway, you'll have a colorful light show to help you complete your landing safely.